Hello friends, this is part 4 of the chapter Matter in Our Surroundings, and in this video we are going to study the topic Change of State of Matter. So before we start, let us have an overview of what we have studied in our previous videos, the description of which has been given in the description box below. So we studied in the previous videos the classification of matter. That matter has been classified into solid, liquid and gas, and we know that all the matter has some sort of kinetic energy. Then we studied diffusion and we compared the properties of solid, liquid and gases. Then we studied temperature and the scales of temperature, that is Celsius scale, Kelvin scale and the Fahrenheit scale. So now what we have to study is the change of state of matter. So now we know that matter has been classified into solid, liquid and gases, and they possess some sort of kinetic energy. What kinetic energy is? The energy which is possessed by the motion of the particles. When particles are in motion, they possess some energy and that is known as the kinetic energy. Fine. So when we have to study the change of state of matter, first we should observe the changes that are around us. For example, there is one change that we observe in our daily lives, that is ice, water and steam. Now what we have seen, that ice can be converted into water and this water can be converted into ice, or you can say this steam can be converted into water and this water can be converted into ice. Fine. So this is a change that we observe in our daily life. Fine. So this change is known as the physical change. Why it is known as a physical change? Because a physical change is a change which only changes the form of the substance. So here what we know, that ice is a solid, water here it is in the liquid form, and steam here is in the gaseous form. So here the state of this matter is changing, solid to liquid, liquid to gas. So physical changes are the changes in which only the form of the substance changes but not their chemical composition. The chemical composition in ice, water and steam, that is same throughout. So a physical change, these are the changes affecting the form of a chemical substance but not the chemical composition. Fine. So what we are saying here, there's ice, water and steam. All these forms of matter, they are interconvertible. Solid to liquid and liquid to gas, or here it is steam. Fine. So what we say is that matter can change from one form to other form, that is from solid to liquid and to gas. Now this phenomenon of change of matter from one state to another and back to the original. Back to the original, that means that ice to water, water to steam, steam to again water, and water to again ice. If we are taking ice as the original state, this is known as the interconversion of states of matter. Now let us take the same example of ice, water and steam. So ice is a solid. This is a solid. So the particles are very close to each other and they cannot move about each other. They cannot move. They only vibrate on its position. Fine. So what we are doing, if we provide some heat to this ice, they start melting. Fine, they start melting and they get converted into water. Now in water, what is it, that the particles they move faster and they are moved further apart from each other. Fine, and then they start boiling. So in boiling also the particles start moving more quickly and more randomly and they move very far apart from each other and they get converted into steam. Fine. So this process is melting, this process is boiling. Again steam is getting converted into, can be converted into water and water can be converted into steam, which will we are going to study in this video. Fine. So what is happening here, that when we apply heat energy to ice, it changes into water and then to vapors. And now if we cool this steam, it gets converted into water and then it changes into ice. Fine, so this is a sort of a physical change. So the physical state of matter, it can be changed by changing the temperature or by changing the pressure. Fine. So when we change the temperature and pressure, what exactly happens is the force of attraction between these particles changes. The space between the particles changes. We know now that matter in matter there are spaces between the particles. They have some kinetic energy, they have some forces of attraction. So when we change the temperature and pressure, this space between the particles changes. The space here is changing, the force of attraction between them is changing. Fine. And the particles, they are moving far away from each other. So what is happening when we change the pressure and temperature, there is change in the space between the particles, force of attraction, and their kinetic energy also changes. Fine. So for example, under normal pressure, अगर हम normal pressure की बात करते हैं, तो water it exists as solid in the form of ice at temperature 0 or below 0 degree Celsius. It exists as liquid in the form of water at room temperature, and it exists as gas in the form of steam at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius or above. Fine. So this is the change of matter. So now what we have to study is the effect of temperature. But what happens when we change the temperature? Okay. So first we are going to study the solid to liquid change. First is solid to liquid change, which is known as the melting. So what we have observed is that when we heat ice, it changes into water. If the ice is heated, it changes into water. That means the solid ice is changing into the liquid water. So what is happening here? A change is happening here. That is a physical change. Fine. So that physical change is known as the melting. So melting, or you can say fusion, is a physical process that results in the phase transition. Phase transition is that the phase, that is state of matter, is changing from solid to a liquid. Fine. So when ice changes into water on heating, it is called the melting of ice. Fine. So the process in which a solid substance, this is ice is a solid, it changes into liquid, it is known as the melting, or it is known as the fusion. Fine. The melting of a solid, it takes place at a fixed temperature. So what happens? This occurs when the internal energy of the solid increases. The internal energy, when we apply energy, the energy increases. Suppose we are providing heat or we are applying some pressure, the internal energy increases, which increases the temperature of the substance to its melting point. Fine. So at melting point, we know that solids, their position or their structure, that is a very ordered structure. In solids, the structure is very ordered. So when we apply heat, that solid breaks down to a less ordered state and it starts melting. So what is the melting point? It is the temperature at which the substance changes from solid to liquid at the atmospheric pressure. For example, the ice melts at a temperature of 0 degrees Celsius to form liquid. So, you can say that the melting point of this ice is 0 degrees Celsius. Fine. So, at melting point, the ice changes its state from solid to liquid. Right. So here what we are saying, that the melting point of a substance is the temperature at which it changes its state from solid to liquid at atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric pressure? It is also known as the barometric pressure. It is the pressure within the Earth's atmosphere. The pressure that the atmosphere of Earth is exerting, that is known as the atmospheric pressure. So normally when we heat a substance, then its temperature rises. Fine. But this is not so when a change of state of a substance takes place. For example, if we consider a change of solid to liquid, we are changing the state. So there is generally no rise in the temperature when we are changing the state. But what we are doing, we are applying the heat. So that heat is known as the latent heat. Find the heat energy which has to be supplied to change the state of a substance is called latent heat. Fine. So what is happening here, that every substance, be it solid, liquid or gas, we have studied that they have some forces of attraction between the particles, and these forces of attraction of the between the particles, they keep those particles together. Fine. So if a substance has to change its state, अगर इसको solid से liquid form में convert होना है, then it has to overcome these forces of attraction. Fine. So the latent heat which we apply, which we provide, it is used in overcoming the forces of attraction between the particles. Fine. So this latent heat, it is not increasing the kinetic energy of the particles. The kinetic energy of the particle is same. Only these forces of attraction, they have to they should be broke so that this solid can be converted into a liquid. Right? The latent heat, it is not increasing the kinetic energy, and since kinetic energy is not increasing, the temperature of the substance, it does not rise. Fine, when we change the state. So when we are changing a solid to a liquid, when a substance is heated, the energy makes its particles to, they only vibrate vigorously. Fine. So at the melting point, the particles, they have sufficient energy to overcome these forces of attraction which are holding the particles in the fixed position, and they break to form small groups of particles, and then the solid melts to form a liquid. Fine. So if we have to understand this, for this you can do a simple experiment. What we can do is, we take some crushed ice in a beaker and suspend a thermometer in it. So this is the crushed ice, and we have taken the thermometer over here. Make sure that the thermometer is surrounded by ice from all the direction, and it is not touching the surface of this beaker. Fine. Now, when we note the temperature of the ice, we find that it is 0 degree Celsius. Now, what we'll do, we'll start heating this using a burner. Okay. On heating, this ice, it starts melting to form water. Now, we'll record our temperature every minute. Fine. As more heat is given, more ice melts to form water, but the thermometer reading, it will remain at 0 degree Celsius only. Fine. As long as there remains even a single or even a little ice in the beaker, the thermometer does not rise. Okay, the temperature remains constant at 0 degree Celsius. What is this showing? That there is no increase in the temperature. Fine. It is only when the whole ice melts and then the temperature of the water, it starts rising. Fine. On further heating, the heat which is going into the ice and it is not increasing the temperature is the energy required to change the state of ice from solid to liquid. Right? Only this state is changing, and that we call as the latent heat of fusion. Fine. This is known as the latent heat of fusion. Melting or fusion, it is the process in which the solid substance changes into liquid on heating. That is known as melting, or you can say fusion. So this is the heat that we provide for changing the state, and this is known as the latent heat of fusion. So what happens in case of ice is that ice, because it is a solid, it has a strong interparticle forces of attraction. Now, when we supply heat, we overcome the heat that we are supplying is used to overcome these forces of attraction. So these are the particles, and they have these forces of attractions between them. Fine. The heat is used up to overcome the forces of attraction, and so that they become somewhat loose. Fine. So this is getting used up here. So this heat is not increasing the kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is same. Therefore, the temperature is also same. Now, there is no rise in the temperature. Fine, we are applying the energy and it is getting converted into liquid here. Fine, but when all the ice has melted to form water, further if we keep on heating it, the kinetic energy, now they have become loose. Now if we keep on increasing the temperature, the heat, due to this heat, there will be change in the kinetic energy. There will be an increase in the kinetic energy of the system. Now when the kinetic energy of the system increases, there is change in the temperature also. Now then the temperature starts increasing again. And so during the melting process, there is no change or there is no rise in the temperature. Fine. So the heat that we are providing, that is known as the latent heat of fusion. And how we are going to define latent heat of fusion? The latent heat of fusion for a solid is the quantity of heat in joules, that is the unit of heat, which is required to convert 1 kilogram of solid to liquid without any change in temperature. For example, if we have 1 kilogram of ice, so the amount of energy that will require to change that 1 kg of ice into liquid without any change in temperature, that is known as the latent heat of fusion. So if we are considering ice, so for ice the latent heat of fusion is 3.34 into 10, this is to the power, not 105, it is 10 raised to the power 5 joules per kg. Fine. So this means that 3.34 into 10 raised to the power 5 joules of heat is required to convert 1 kg of ice at its melting point of 0 degrees Celsius into water at the same temperature. Fine. So this much heat energy is required if we have to convert 1 kilogram of ice into liquid. Fine. So this is known as the latent heat of fusion. On melting is the process in which a solid substance changes into liquid on heating, and there is latent heat of fusion, due to which the temperature of the system, the temperature of ice, it remains the same till its melting point, and then after all the ice has converted into liquid, then the temperature starts rising because the kinetic energy of the particles increases. Right? So this is the latent heat of fusion. So now we have studied the solid to liquid change, that is melting, and we have seen the latent heat of fusion. Now the next we have to study is the liquid to gas change. Liquid to gas, when a substance changes, that is known as the boiling. Fine, that is ice is changing into water. This is solid to liquid change, that is melting, and now this water is changing into steam. This is known as the boiling. Fine. So the process in which a liquid substance changes into gas rapidly on heating, that is known as the boiling. Now what is happening here? When the liquid is heated, when we are heating this liquid, the energy, that heat energy, what is happening there? The particles, they start moving faster. Fine. When we apply heat here, the particles of this water, they start moving faster. Fine. So at the boiling point of the the particle of a liquid, they have sufficient kinetic energy to overcome the forces of attraction which are holding them together. In liquid also, the particles are comparatively close. Fine. So they have also some forces of attraction. So when we are applying this heat energy is helping them to overcome the forces of attraction, and then they are separating the individual particles, and the liquid, it forms into gas. Fine. So what is a boiling point? It is the temperature at which the state changes from liquid to gas, again at the atmospheric pressure. Fine. So water, it normally exists in the liquid state. So when we are heating, it ultimately starts boiling and it changes into this steam. Right? So this process in which liquid substance changes into gas on heating, that is known as the boiling. Right? And the temperature at which liquid boils, that is known as the boiling point. When the liquid boils and it changes into gas at atmospheric pressure, that is known as the boiling point of that liquid. For example, if we are considering water, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Right? It boils rapidly to form gas, which is called steam. So the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Fine. So next is when water is heated to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it boils rapidly to form a gas, so that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Fine. So now the boiling point of a liquid is a measure of force of attraction between the particles. Fine. So here we have liquid particles, they have some forces of attraction. Now suppose we are providing them the heat and they are overcoming this force of attraction. So one thing that could happen is that at a minimum temperature, for example 10 degrees Celsius or 20 degrees Celsius, this liquid is boiling. Okay, and it is converting into gas. So we say that the boiling point of that liquid would be 100. That means that the forces of attraction between these particles were not that high. Okay, they were not that strong. So if the liquid is boiling at suppose 100 degrees Celsius or 200 degrees Celsius, that means that the forces of attraction between these particles are very strong. So the boiling point tells us that how strong the forces of attraction are between the particles. Fine. So higher the boiling point, if the boiling point is higher, that means that the forces of attractions are also greater. If the boiling point is low, the forces of attraction will be low. They will not be that strong. Fine. So that what we are saying, that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, and if we consider mercury, then we can see, then the boiling point of mercury is 375 degrees Celsius. So that means that the forces of attraction in mercury are higher than the forces of attraction in water. Fine. So when we are boiling also, they have to overcome these forces of attraction. Fine. So that for that also we can do a simple experiment. If you take some water in a beaker and suspend a thermometer in it, same as we did in case of ice. Now heat the water gently by using a small flame of a burner and note its temperature every minute. Fine. As heat is given, the temperature of the liquid rises gradually until 100 degrees Celsius is reached. Fine. 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water. Now the temperature will keep on increasing until it reaches the 100 degrees Celsius mark. Now at temperature 100 degrees Celsius, the water boils and starts changing into steam. Now here the water will start changing into steam. Now as we provide more and more heat, more steam is formed, but the thermometer reading remains at 100 degrees Celsius, showing that there is no rise in the temperature during the boiling of water. फाइन. तो जैसे ही यहाँ पे ये 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे रीच करेगा, उसके बाद से यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर की जो रीडिंग है उसमें कोई भी चेंज नहीं आएगा. फाइन. सो व्हेन द water has begun to boil, the temperature remains constant at 100 degree Celsius until all water has changed into steam. जब तक सारा का सारा जो water है वो steam में convert नहीं हो जाता, the temperature of the system will remain the same. Fine. So this is a simple experiment that we can perform. Now the heat which is going into boiling water, but it is not increasing its temperature, is the energy required to change the state from liquid to gas. Fine. To overcome the forces of attraction between the particles. These are the forces of attractions between the particles. So this heat is used up in overcoming these forces of attraction between the particles. Fine. So this is known as the latent heat of vaporization of the particle. Latent heat of vaporization of water here. Fine. So these are the forces of attraction between the particles. So they have to overcome these forces of attraction. So the latent heat of vaporization is the quantity of heat in joules required to convert 1 kilogram of liquid at its boiling point, because till boiling point the temperature increases and then it stops to vapor without any change in the temperature. So the latent heat of vaporization of water is 222.5 into 10 raised to the power 5 joules per kg. So that means this much heat is required to convert 1 kg of water into gas. So now we have studied the processes like boiling and melting, and we know what is latent heat of fusion and what is the latent heat of vaporization. In all these two processes, what we are doing, we are continuously increasing the temperature of the system unless it reaches its melting point or unless it reaches its boiling point. So the next what we have to study is what happens when we decrease the temperature or when we lower the temperature. So the first process is gas to liquid change, that is known as condensation. Fine. So if we cool steam, obviously by lowering its temperature, it is converting gets converted into liquid water. Fine. So in this case, steam changes into liquid. So there also a change has taken place, which is a physical change. Fine. So the process of changing a gas to liquid by cooling, that is known as the condensation. And here you can see this is an experimental setup in which we are taking a beaker and we are boiling a water in this, and over it we are taking a steel plate. Fine. So what is happening when the water starts boiling and this steam gets in contact with this steel plate, it cools down here and then it condenses and it drops in this dish. So here the liquid is, we are collecting the liquid in this dish. Fine. So when a gas is cooled enough, so here this gas, the steam is getting cooled. So it is cooled enough, the temperature is getting lowered. Then what happens? The particles here, they are losing their kinetic energy. Fine. So in case of a gas, the particles were moving randomly. The forces of attractions were very weak. Now when they are coming in contact with the steel, the temperature is lowering and they are losing their kinetic energy. Fine. So they are slowing down and they are moving close to each other until they start being attracted to one another and they form the liquid. So condensation is the reverse of boiling. What was happening in boiling? That we were converting liquid to gas, and in condensation we are converting gas to liquid. This is a reverse of boiling. So now next what we have to study is the sublimation. So now most of the solid substances, when we heat them, they first change into liquid and then they become vapors or they get converted into gas. Fine. And when this vapor on cooling, it first forms liquid and then it forms solid. That is what we have studied till now. Fine. That the process of condensation and then the process of freezing. But there are a few solid substances which change directly into vapors on heating, and the vapors they give back solid substances on cooling. So instead of changing into liquid, they are directly changing into solid to liquid, and that gas, when we cool it, it gets converted into solid again. So the phase of liquid that is missing in this process. Fine. So that is known as the sublimation. So sublimation is the transition of a substance directly from solid to the gas state without passing through the liquid state. It can be solid to the gas or it can be gas to solid also. Fine. So अगर solid से gas convert हो रहा है, that is also sublimation. अगर gas से solid convert हो रहा है, that is also sublimation. Fine. So this is the process of sublimation. It is getting cut. अगर solid से liquid में convert होगा, then it is melting. Liquid से gas में होगा, then it is boiling. Gas से liquid, condensation. Liquid to solid, that is freezing. But if it is getting converted directly into gas from solid, then that process is known as sublimation. Right? So the solid substance which undergoes sublimation, that is known as the sublime. And the solid, when we will cool this gas, if we cool this, it will directly gets converted into solid, that solid is known as the sublimate. Fine. So the solid which is getting converted, that is known as the sublime. And when we cool down these vapors, they are converting into the solid, that is known as the sublimate. Fine. So for example, if we have ammonium chloride, if we take some ammonium chloride in a china dish and place the china dish on this tripod stand. Okay, this is the tripod stand. The china dish, it is converted using an inverted funnel. So this is the inverted funnel, and there is a loose cotton plug is put in the upper open end of the funnel to prevent the ammonium chloride vapors from escaping into the atmosphere, ताकि यहाँ से बाहर ना निकले. So we are placing a cotton plug over here, right? So now this china dish is heated by using this burner. So on heating, what happens? The ammonium chloride, they changes into vapors. So this ammonium chloride solid, it is getting converted into the vapors. Fine. Now these vapors, they rise up and they gets converted into solid ammonium chloride when they come in contact with the cold inner walls of the funnel. Right. So when they come in contact with these closed inner walls of the funnel, they are again getting converted into the solid. Fine. So ammonium chloride gets collected on the inner sides of the funnel in the form of sublimate, and now it can be removed. Fine. So this, in this process, what we are seeing, that here the ammonium chloride, when we are heating it, it is getting directly converted into vapors. Now when they rise up and they come in contact with this cool ends of the funnel, they are again getting converted into solid. Right? So this is one example. The second example that we can take is of a solid iodine crystal. When we heat the solid iodine crystal, the iodine will change from a solid directly to a gas without passing through a liquid phase. Right? And the third example that you must have seen is of the naphthalene balls. Right? So what happens in naphthalene balls? The naphthalene balls, they disappear with time without leaving behind any residue. Right? So you must have observed that our mothers, they use naphthalene balls and they keep them with the woolen or silk clothes to protect them from some attack of moths or some other insects. Fine. So what we do, we just place these naphthalene balls there. So with time, what happens? These naphthalene balls, they disappear with time. Fine. So this is because these naphthalene balls, they undergo the process of sublimation. Fine. This is undergoing sublimation. So the naphthalene balls, they keep forming the naphthalene vapors slowly, which are disappearing in the air. Fine. So this process of sublimation, when it is converting into solid to vapors without being converted into liquid, that is known as sublimation. Fine. And on cooling that gas, it gets converted directly into solid. You can call it sublimation, or what you can call it as deposition also. Fine. So what we have studied is that when solid is changed into liquid, it is known as melting. Then liquid, when it is converted into gas, that is known as boiling. And when gas is directly converted into solid, that is known as deposition. Fine, as in the case of ammonium chloride. Now when a solid is directly converted into gas, that is known as the sublimation. When liquid is converted into solid, that is known as freezing. Right? And when gas is converted into liquid, that is known as the condensation. So these are all the processes which takes place when we study the changes of state of matter. So what we are saying here, that the states of matter, in they are interchangeable. There is an interconversion of the three states of matter. Fine, and all these processes we have discussed here.